So, y'all, this is one of my favorite topics. Going from colleague to consultant. This is what I did the bulk of my career. It was consult. I was a consultant and contractor, one and the same. But I love talking about this because it's something that I did. I worked for 3 companies on a full-time basis, one for 7 years, one for 5 years, and one for 3 years. So I still have that experience. But the bulk of my career was through consultancy. So we're going to talk about that today and making your employer your client. How do we even do that? To kick things off, though, y'all ready? And don't forget, IG, come on over. Say hey when you get here so we know you're coming in. Come on over. Here's what we're going to do. Do me a favor. In the comments, let us know what it is you do and how long you've been doing this. Let us know. Drop in the comments. Let's see it. We're going to do this. I'm going to share a short presentation, okay? And then we're going to have a discussion, okay? Drop in the comments what it is that you do. Either your title, your industry. I'm in telecommunications and I've been doing that for 13 years. I'm in healthcare and I've been doing that for 9 years. I'm in manufacturing and I've been doing that for 9 years. So drop in the comments what it is you do. You can put, I'm an executive assistant and I've been doing that for 10 years. I'm a nurse and I've been doing that for 8 years. Drop in the comments what it is that you do. Okay, Crystal over on IG, she's in healthcare administration. How long you been doing that, Krista? I'm sorry, I called you Crystal. Krista, how long you been doing that? Okay, hey, Liz. Elizabeth said, I worked in government. Great. Angela, hey, Angela. Angela said, healthcare, 10 years. I love it. Contracting, what industry, Elizabeth? For 3 years. Teresa, technical project program portfolio management, InfoSec for 26 years. Wow, some great. What else, y'all? What else we got? Okay, Krista said healthcare administration for 13 years. Wow, that's amazing. That's Krista's over on IG. Jay said, I'm a contact center professional and have been in business processing outsourcing for 14 years. I love it. Derek, quality professional specializing in system auditing for 10 years. I love it. Okay, Elizabeth, I got you. So Elizabeth have been in government contracting for 3 years, contracting in government for 3 years. Martine said crafting, exploring STEM, teaching, and working over 10 years. That's amazing. I love it. So Martine said admin 11 years in government. Okay, that's amazing. Bernadette, financial, government 19 years. I love it. Wow. Yeah, we've been in this for a while, ain't we? We've been in this work thing for a while. Robin said office manager, EA administrator. She said only Robin, y'all. Too many years. Okay. She cracks me up. Okay. Too many years. So we're going to get into some things and I want you to remember this, right? We got 14 years in contact center professional and BPO. We have admin for 8 years. We have government. We have, what else we have? Finance, government, 19 years. We have project management, program management for 26 years, quality professional, 10 years. We got healthcare over here, 13 years, healthcare over here, 10 years. So really broad. Oh yes, we have. We've been in a while, Martine, right? For sure. So let's talk about it. I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna go through this and then we're gonna have our discussion. But I know y'all gonna be chatting in the comments. If you can't see me, I won't be able to see me, but y'all should be able to see me. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna go through this presentation, okay? Lady Low, HR, 10 years. See, y'all been in it for a while. All of us, right? All right, I'm gonna share my screen and we're going back to basics, y'all, like I used to do. I created a whole presentation because this is one of my favorite topics. Okay. I am going to share and it's showing me perfect. And y'all should be able to see this. Let me see if y'all can. Yes. Okay, here we go. Colleague to consultant. Make your employer your client. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. So why, Kelly, in the world Why should I become a consultant? As you navigate through the dynamic and ever evolving professional landscape, listen, you all, embracing a consultant role could be a brilliant move, particularly in today's fast paced and specialized workforce. And when you reach the later stages of your career, stepping into the world of consulting or cultivating a consultant mindset within your current job allows you to truly focus on what you excel at. Not only does it set you apart from the crowd in your industry, but it also enables you to craft a captivating professional brand that captures attention and opens new doors. All right, let's keep going. Now, what prevents me from continuing to work solely as an employee? What would stop me from just being an employee, Kelly? I've been doing this all my life. What would stop me from being an employee? What would prevent that? Based on data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment rate for individuals aged 65 and above stands at a mere 20%. Now, I know, we're not at 65. I get it. But we're going to get there. God willing, right? We're going to get there. So this means that those that are the age of 65, 20% of them in all the land are employed. So if we were to take 100 of them, 20% of them, that'd be 20. The other 80 unemployed. These statistics unequivocally highlight the reality. The reality, y'all. This isn't Kelly talking. I cited the source. As one advances in age and accumulates experience in their field, securing conventional W-2 employment becomes increasingly challenging. Now, why would that be? Let's look at the advantages first of we're talking about going from a colleague to a consultant. Here's some of the advantages of doing this. Autonomy over your work schedule. You create your work schedule when you're a consultant. You can decide when you want to work, right? I know a person now that takes the summers off. They take 3 months off in the middle of the year. When I worked at Microsoft, the guy that trained me on Microsoft processes and procedures and how they do things, he takes off 6 months and he comes back to Microsoft. Every 6 months, he built a relationship with them. He takes off for 6 months and he goes right back. And he's older than me. Another advantage of becoming a consultant, you can leverage your strengths and expertise. Have you ever been at work and you think about, I'm not feeling challenged. I'm not learning anything. I'm not learning any new skills. I don't feel like I'm benefiting by being here. I feel like I have all of these repetitive tasks that are not enhancing me professionally. When you're a consultant, you get to decide the scope of work that you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it at. Number 3, do the work that you really want to do. When you're a consultant, similar to number 2, you can do the type of work that you want to do, right? I know that this whole electrical vehicle thing is taking off. I really want to do that type of work. I want to get involved because I know that's an emerging technology and I know that's going to be around in the future. And I have to stretch my finances now because we're living longer. We're going to be around longer. And I know right now my 401k isn't doing well. And I know I don't have a pension, and my IRA and my Roth IRA, they're not producing like I'd like. So I really want to get and do the work that I really want to do. I like the fact that General Motors and Ford are now jumping on the bandwagon with Tesla with these charging things, and it fascinates me. That's the work I want to do. As a consultant, you can pick to do that. Work for companies that you want to work for. Number 4, I want to work for Tesla. I know they're leading the way when it comes to electric vehicles. I know that's a technology that's going to be around in the future. I already see the trucks with no people in it. The cars, they're already happening. So Tesla's on my list. I want to work for that company. I want to work for NVIDIA. They make the semiconductor. I want to work for these types of companies. So as a consultant, I can work for these types of companies because I can set myself up for the future and what's going to be around versus sitting in a company that I don't like. I'm not growing. I'm not feeling challenged. I'm not motivated to be here. I don't have the energy. I don't even want to go back to work tomorrow. But if I was a consultant, I can select where I want to go next, the type of work I want to do that'll help me enhance my skills and move me forward and keep me on a trajectory of what's going to be around in the future. So number 5 talks about building your portfolio of projects and building your portfolio of work. This will enhance your credibility when you're in the market as a consultant, when you go to work for Accenture, when you go to work for Deloitte, when you go to these consultant companies, right? You have a portfolio of work that tells a story, that shows your credibility, that shares with them the value that you've been able to add to the organizations that you have inside of your portfolio of work. So these are some of the advantages of being a consultant. What are some of the disadvantages? I just don't want to share with you because it's the work that I did. I want to give you a point of view and a point of reference. Everything's not peachy and rosy and all of that. I want to make it fair and make sure I share with you some of the disadvantages. And some of those are the tangible benefits. When you work for an employer, when it comes to matching your 401k, right? Matching your contributions. When you work for yourself, ain't nobody matching but you, right? You put in that 65, 7,500, then you got to match that. Your medical coverage is cheaper with a group plan plan, right? It's cheaper. So you have to think about, these are tangible benefits. These are things that I know we think about, especially around our age. We think about that. These are some of the things that keeps us where we are, right? Currently working. This keeps us for looking at another employer because we think about, well, my benefits and my 401k and, for some of the places that have pensions, we think about those things, and those things dictate what our next move is versus what it is we really like to do, who we like to work for, what we like to get paid. We let those things, although they're tangible and although they are super important, these are some of the disadvantages. Compensation, consistency. We know the 1st and the 15th, there it is. We know it's coming. We know we get that check consistently on the 1st and the 15th. And predictability, we know how much it's going to be. We think about our bills. We know when this comes, I got to take this amount out for this and this amount out for that. I know it's going to be this, and I know this is what I'm going to have left, so I can do that and I can do this and do that. So these are some of the disadvantages. When you're working as a consultant, your pay, your compensation is determined about the rate that you negotiate. It is determined by how many clients that you have, right? We talked about, I think about 4 weeks ago, we talked about, what was it called? It has a term where some consultants were working for 3 different, I did a video about it, 3 different companies at a time, right? But they were consultants. I'm not saying that you should do that. But as a consultant, they do what they want, they work where they want, and they make what they want, right? So these are some of the disadvantages. Let's keep going. Now, here is some questions to ask yourself. I know this may be a little bit hard to read, so you may want to write this down, because if you're thinking about becoming a consultant, and we're going to talk about making your employer your client, but if you're thinking about it, here are some things that you can ask yourself and things that you can consider. If you've been wondering, transitioning, I've been in this, I've been working since I was 15. I've been working since I was 18. I don't know, working about as a consultant. That's a little scary. That's a little different. It is. In all honesty, it is. When I quit the job that I had for 5 years, because of the leadership and things that were going on and reorganizational structuring that I didn't like, and they were promoting people over me. I was training people that were being paid more than me that just got there. I had to go. I didn't know what my next move was. I had no idea until I told y'all this story. I saw Coca-Cola had in the paper. That's tell you how old I am. They were looking for a consultant, a contractor for $25 an hour. I had no clue what it was, but they put in recruiting. I'm like, oh, well, that's me. I don't know what consulting and contracting is, but let me see. I got the job. And it's been on ever since. Oh, I love this. What? I can tell y'all what to pay me? What? So here's some questions to ask yourself. Are you ready for it? Being a consultant means working alone or from a distance for long periods, which can make you feel lonely and isolated. If you really enjoy the social part of working with others in a company, becoming a consultant may not be the best choice for you. So if you need that interaction, if you need to socialize, if you need to walk down the hall and talk to Mary Jane about this particular project, this may not be the best choice for you. I remember as a contractor, I worked at one company and there were certain things that we didn't have privy to. We couldn't attend the parties and the Halloween parties and the Christmas parties. We couldn't get the t-shirts. We couldn't go to any of the birthday things because we were contractors. It's better now. It's a lot better now. But I remember some companies will set you apart. So it was a mental shift for me because you feel kind of like an outcast if you're there as a you don't get some of the little things on your desk. You sit in a certain place. Some places have pools, cubes just for contractors, right? So you have to be ready. What are you good at? We're talking about questions to ask yourself. What are you good at? Do you know exactly what you love to do and what you're really good at? Find out your strengths, special skills, things you're passionate about, and the areas where you can make the biggest difference to your employers and later on your clients. Now, you may think, well, Kelly, this is all, I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know. This is important because in your job, you may do a multitude of things. I think a couple of weeks ago, we were talking and someone said, I think it was Janelle, she was talking about she's in HR, but she does payroll, she does recruiting, she does benefits, and she does onboarding. What is it that you are good at in your job? If you're a cybersecurity person, maybe you do penetration testing, maybe you do hackathons, maybe you do, building firewalls. What is it that you're good at? I know in recruiting, I like to hunt. I like finding critical skills. That was my stuff. That was my jam. That's what I love to do. Give me the hard critical skills. I like finding the purple squirrels. I like finding the unicorns. That part of recruiting is what I like doing. So it made sense for me at Microsoft to be in leadership, to look for leaders, technology leaders that I know there were only a small pool of, and I had the task of convincing them to leave where they were to come over here. I like a challenge. I know what I'm good at. What are your gaps? It's a question that you should be asking yourself about becoming a consultant. Take care of your gaps in your knowledge or skills. You can do this through assessments, certifications, or additional training. This establishes your credentials to your clients. We all have gaps. All right. We all have gaps. So even though I'm good at headhunting, right? There are maybe certain verticals or certain industries that I've never done. I've never found a traveling nurse before. That's a gap for me. If I consider myself a good recruiter and a good headhunter, and I know right now that's a critical skill, and there's a huge shortage of nurses, and we need a traveling nurse because she's going to be working 12 months in New York, and then she's going to work 13 months in California, and then we're going to send her to Kentucky in this remote area. We need that person. That's a hard thing to fill. That's a gap for me. I don't know anything about nurses. So I need additional training from someone or some type of course or something to fill in my gaps. So you should know your strengths. You should know if you need to get an assessment to figure out what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. If you need another certification, to fill in your gaps. Because again, you're going to be presenting now to clients. That's different than going on an interview for an employer. That's different, right? You're going to have your portfolio of work and you're going to share with them all of the work that you've done, the value you've been able to add at all the companies that you work. Your credentials are important, right? And you want to have that credibility there that you know exactly what you're doing. And this is what you've been able to add to for your other clients. What are the financial risks? We're talking about the questions to ask yourself. Do you have enough money and support to help you through the time when you're starting to make money as a consultant? You want to be able to transition that bridge between you being an employee to a consultant. Do you have a cushion? Right? Do you have the money in your 401k? If you're leaving your company or due to restructuring or layoff, do you have that severance? Are we taking our severance money and then we're going on trips? Are we taking our 401k and dipping into it because it's summertime and we're going on trips? Do we know how our company is doing financially? If this is something you're thinking about, are we thinking about how to bridge that transition gap between the time? Do you have a network to tap into? Your network of connections will be extremely valuable for promoting your new consulting practice. It's essential to know who your most important supporters will be. These are the people who will help you the most in spreading the word about your services and finding clients. Now, this is something I didn't do. This is something I should have done and I didn't do. And I don't want y'all to do what I didn't do. I moved around, right? I worked in all these different companies in the HR department. But I thought like an employee, I went there to do a job and go home. What I didn't do, and I wouldn't have known where I'm at in my future, and a lot of us don't know, right? But I didn't know that I should have been building a relationship. Now, although I'm connected to a lot of people on LinkedIn, strategically, they're not the people that could potentially bring me in as a consultant or a contractor. And me working in HR, I was in a prime position. And now that I have a staffing agency, imagine had I built a relationship, a rapport, gone to lunch with them a few times, right? I sent them a few articles a few times, scheduled just a chat meeting with them a few times, just built a relationship with all these different HR and senior leaders in HR. Imagine I wouldn't have to go and look for clients because I've built a relationship throughout the years. So these are some of the questions to ask yourself. Are you ready? What are you good at? Where are your gaps? What are the financial risks? And do you have a network to tap into? Now, let me say about this network. It is not necessarily who you're currently working for, like in your department. It could be that you work with another department or another business unit. You have some cross functionality with another team in another location. If you think about what you're good at, because you're answering these questions, and you know that part of your job, I have to deal with finance. Would it make sense for you to build a relationship with the CFO or for the VP of finance? Because you know that at the top of 2024, you're going to go out as a consultant. You can reach back after building this relationship and say, I'm now have my own consultancy, right? Oh, Jeff, that's great. Yeah, we definitely need some help. It's the top of the year. We have all these numbers and we have all these budget that we have to give back. Can you come in for 6 months? That's your first client. Don't do like I did and sit there and think that I'm just going to work as an employee. Be strategic, be methodical. Think about who you work with. Think about that person you haven't reached out to, but y'all had a good relationship, but I ain't talked to them in years. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, John? Hey, Samantha, how you doing? How's it going? You guys going anywhere for the summer? Oh, I just thought I'd touch base. I saw you on LinkedIn. I just wanted to say, hey. Well, what you doing now? Well, I'm starting my consulting practice. I've been working as finance, and I'm out on my own. You know what? We're going to need someone at the top of next year. I'll keep you in mind. Great. Thank you so much. Don't just think you're there to be there. Make it work for you. Let's keep going. Why do companies hire consultants in the first place? Well, for a new perspective sometimes. They can often bring new and innovative ideas or possible challenges to the table that clients probably wouldn't have been able to see on their own. This is similar to when you go into an interview, right? If you see a challenge with what they're currently doing now, sometimes they bring in consultants just for a different perspective. You know why? Because they're not going to hire, and this is on another bullet point, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's cheaper to bring in a consultant versus hiring somebody full time. They got to pay a salary to every year because they know a consultant's only going to be there for six months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 at the most. They also think about, this person's been working outside of our company. Let's see what they know. They've been working at Tesla. They've been working at Humana. They've been working at AT&T. They've been working at Coke. Let's bring in a consultant to see why this process isn't working. Why we can't get more traffic over here? How come this isn't streamlined? What are we doing wrong? Let's bring in a consultant. So a new perspective, manpower. Companies need to concentrate on their daily operations. That's the main goal of a company, the operations, right? And taking on new projects often means reallocating employees' primary job tasks. However, it is not always practical, what I just talked about, to hire new employees for these temporary assignments, considering that fact that many of these projects are unique and not ongoing. So it may be manpower, right? When I worked for Bell South before it became AT&T, this is the year Hurricane Katrina hit. We had to send thousands upon thousands of network engineers to New Orleans. We hired hundreds and hundreds of people to come in as contractors. Right? We didn't even know how long they were going to be there, but this is what happens. So what you do strategically, you think about the company, because we went through the questions we should be asking ourselves. And one of those was, what company do I want to work for? If we think about a retail company, we know their peak season where there's high volume. We know that a lot of their money is made during the holidays. That may be a good time for me to start and go out as a consultant because I know they're going to be looking for contractors. So manpower, why do companies hire consultants? This is what we're talking about now. The other one, is specialized skills. These professionals possess expertise in various areas such as Lean Six Sigma process design and finance organization structures. Hiring such highly specialized individuals would not only be costly, but also challenging to keep them occupied with work throughout the year. However, with consultants, companies can access these skills whenever they are needed, providing a flexible and cost-effective solution, right? So if you have a specialized skill, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, this is when they hire you, right? Let's say they're implementing a new, system or something, and they need a consultant to come in to help them just through the implementation period. You specialize in this specific area, they'll bring you in $200, $250, whatever you charge per hour, because they know it's only going to be for a short time. So they're not tripping about that. This is a cost-effective solution for them. And what you tell yourself is that let me get, 3 or 4 or 5 of these. Same similar type of company, same type of process. Let me do some research and see what they're implementing, right? I help my clients with this. We do that research and we see what companies across certain industries are going through certain phases. And we know that they're going to need certain, when I'm my staffing agency, I like to work with SaaS companies, software as a service companies. I know that they're going to need these five positions. I know for a fact they're going to need that. Those are the companies I like to work with. I work with all kinds of companies, but I know for a fact what they're going to need. And I know that they have investors that have invested in them And part of them paying back their investors are making sure that they have a team so that they can make sales so they can pay them back. I know that they're board of directors, and I know that they're going to be gauged, and their KPIs is they measure that based on the teams that they hire. These are things that they know. And so you, as a consultant, you know, because your industry you specialize in, you know that KPMG, they're going to be going through this type of implementation because you've already attended their earnings call. You looked up their investor relations and you saw their projections for 2024. You know, at the top of the year that they're going to be adding so-and-so. And more than likely, they're going to need this type of skill. I don't know why this says Pinterest, but the next one. Just like in the movie Up in the Air with George Clooney, there are times when clients hire consultants to handle important tasks. So this should be an important task, right? Like company restructurings or controversial projects. They want an external and experienced team to handle these activities, keeping some distance from their own operations. So in the movie Up in the Air with George Clooney, he went around as a consultant and he fired people. Some companies don't want to deal with that. They'd rather have a consultant go out and do the dirty work, right? There may be some controversial topics that's happening or some things that have happened in a company, and they hire a consultant to come in to help them with change management or to talk about diversity or to help them with, they hire consultants for this, right? So these are some of the things, reasons why companies hire consultants. Now, this is what you wanted. This is what we want to get to. Consulting for my current company. We're going to take our time with this. Y'all ready? Here we go. These are in no particular order, but I wanted to write down these things. Now, as I mentioned, I do this with my clients, and so we actually break these down. This is like a puzzle. I want you to think of this as a puzzle, and I want you to take on, we got 6 months left in this year. If this is something you're considering, you can take one of these points and work on one per month to get you to your goal of starting your consultant practice. So in no particular order, I just put it on here for you all. If you're taking a screenshot of this, you can say, I'm going to do number 5 because that's the closest one. That's the one I can work on, right? So let's start with 1. Now, we're talking about how to make your employer your client. If your manager and their company are open to it, you might have the opportunity to stay in your current job, but focus solely on providing your specialized solution. Now, we talked about earlier having that specialized skill. What is it in what you do now? What you do right now? Which one of those skills that you do every day do you specialize in? Right? If I'm a recruiter, I know I have to source the candidate, means I have to go out and find them. I have to post the job. I have to create the job description. I have to have a meeting with the candidate, hiring manager. What I specialize is finding the candidate. I can find the candidate, right? So I go to my manager and say, I know we have this huge project coming up, and I've been thinking about going out, starting my own consultant practice. And so instead of me just resigning and leaving, I would like to stay on as a consultant. That way you don't have to hire someone. You don't have to foot the bill for a new person to come on board. You don't have to do the training. You don't have to train someone. I already know the culture. I already know the processes. All right. Number 2, another possibility is that your employer becomes your first official client. You would leave your job and start a consulting project with them, just like we talked about in number 1. And you use this to kickstart your practice. It's a great way to begin your consulting journey. So if you say, I'm going to take number 2, Kelly, right? I'm going to make my current employer my first client. I'm going to quit my job. Right? Number 1, we talked about staying in your current job. Number 2, we're talking about I'm going to quit my job. And I'm just going to begin my consultant practice. I'm going to quit altogether. right? Number 3, there's something called phased retirement. And what that means is working fewer hours for your employer while simultaneously building your own consultancy business. So you work where you're working now, you're going to work, instead of working 8 hours a day, you're going to work 5. This is an excellent strategy to create a bridge between your current career stage and the exciting new phase of being a consultant. So you're saying, I'm going to work just 5 hours there, and I'm going to take at least 3 hours to start building my consultancy business. This could mean getting your LLC. This could mean getting your name. This could be starting to figure out, like we talked about earlier, what companies do I want to work with? What vertical or industry do I want to work in? What is my specialized skill? This is called phased retirement. Number 4, engage with colleagues in the company who would find value in this transition and strive to gain widespread support for this decision. We talked earlier that maybe it's not your immediate manager. You may say, Kelly, you know what, my manager, I don't even get along with them. I don't even like them. I know they're not going to be trying to hear all of that. They don't even like me. They would never give me a chance. Okay, maybe there's already contractors working in your company. If you know that, that's a good sign that they do hire consultants. That's a check. Now, let me go to one of those consultants. Who are you working for? How do you like being a consultant? Do you like being? Yeah, I love it. They pay me more money. I don't have to deal with them. I come in when I want to. I got my own company. I put it in my own name. I'm not W-2. I fill out my own W-9 form. I love it. I make more money and I just go on to the next. I'm already finding the next. Y'all. So engage with some of those consultants and contractors. If you know your manager is not having it, your senior leadership team, you know you don't want to have that conversation, that's okay. Again, you're being strategic. You're thinking about this strategically. You have a method to your madness. You have a method to how you're going to start your practice. You know that you can come back to this company because I know that they hire contractors. I know they hire consultants. I know there's a person that takes care of our vendor management. So you start having conversations with them. And there again, number 4 also says, strive to gain widespread support for your decision. If you know that you're really good friends with the people, the VP over in sales, go have a conversation with them. They have access to conversations and things that you may not be privy to. And they can say, you know what, Lady Low, I think that's a great idea. You know, we're going to be going into China and India in the middle of 2024. So let's stay connected and I'll let you know because we're going to need some help. Right? Number 5, compile all of your feedback. So you're taking one of these things, you're talking to people, right? And even if there's nobody in, you say, well, Kelly, there's no contractors and I don't want to talk to my manager. You can look this up on LinkedIn. You can look it up and see who's a contractor and who's an employee. Most of the times they'll put the staffing agency name versus the company they work for. So there's always a way. If you continue to make excuses, then you don't really want to do this, right? Because we're in the information age. There's a ton of information out there. So you can compile all of your feedback that you receive into a comprehensive proposal or presentation. Ensure that it covers all aspects of your proposed transition and addresses any potential questions. What this does, if you're talking to people and you're compiling, like the example where I shared, the contractor was saying, yeah, I'll make more money. I can leave what I want. I'm not reporting to anyone. I got my own LLC. I filled out a W-9. And what are you doing exactly? Well, they just needed me to come in for 18 months to ensure that, X and X and X was happening, right? So you write that down. You put all of this in your proposal and you're on the inside already. You already know what's happening. You know where the need is. And if you're not comfortable talking to anyone, you can look it up. You can go and look at the investor relations link. You can see and you can get on your company's earnings calls. But being an insider, you have access to the intranet. Everything that's happening in that company, if it's a public company, is public knowledge what's going on. So you have access to that. And even if you're not talking to anyone, you can start to work on your proposal, your presentation. And even if it's for you, so you can get a better oh, I forgot about that. I forgot that in 2025, they're going to be acquiring these 3 companies. So I know that they're going to need this. I forgot about that. When you start to do the work, you'll start to see where you can fit in. Number 6, expect delays and bureaucracy. There's going to be some red tape, right? Again, I don't want to paint a picture that is all peaches and cream. This will slow down the process. However, if you remain professional and respectful, which I know you will, you'll eventually win them over. View your proposal as the start of your campaign rather than the final step. So if you're writing all this up, if you're starting to put a presentation together, even if you're just doing it for yourself, don't look at this like this is the last straw. If they don't look at this, then that's it. You creating that proposal or a presentation, because with a proposal, you're going to have to give that out anyway. So if you start working on that now, of putting in there your credentials, how you're credible, the value that you've already been able to provide to different organizations, who you work with, how you've changed things, just like a resume. Look at this as the start of your campaign, right? All right, let's keep going. All right, Kelly, how do I start? Right? I know the advantages. I know the disadvantages. I now know how I can make them my client and the things I need to do to get there. How do I start? How do I even start this thing? Now, I'm sharing with you here what I do in these next 2 slides when I'm working with someone that's transitioning. For those of you that have been connected to me for a while, inside of the Facebook group about 2 years ago, I did a presentation just like this on becoming a recruiter. Inside of that presentation, I shared with them that one of the things that I did on the side, I was an executive coach. I was an executive coach for Black Enterprise. And I would go to Black Enterprise to their events, and I would help C-suite level executives transition into semi-retirement. So some of what you're about to see now, I got from that experience, right? And so one of the things and what I've gleaned from that and what I've been able to pull out from there and tweak over the years is 2 things I know when it comes to becoming a consulting. And these are the things that I look for. There may be other people that do it different, that look for different things, but I thought this would be beneficial for you. So I'm going to share with you what I do. These are 2 questions that I ask myself. And I also ask the people that I work with. Are you a subject matter expert? And your mindset, can you think like a consultant? Let's break that down. Here's a timeline. Now, this comes from part of my program. It's actually a roadmap. I've tweaked it for this presentation, so I've taken some things out. But just to give you an idea, because this will be beneficial to you to kind of plotting how you become that consultant, the things that you may want to think about or things that you may want to consider. So what I do is I think about this and I ask this and I talk to people and I ask these questions. Have you had 10 plus years of experience in your current industry? Do they have, I ask this to myself, and there's questions that I use to gauge this, if they have a mentor-like attitude, right? Because you as a consultant, they're going to be looking at you as the SME, as the subject matter expert. Are you able to lead a team? Are you able to mentor people? If they want you to come in and lead a team to get this certain outcome, can you do that? Can you take a complex situation and make it easy? Can you put it in easy, digestible chunks? 1, when you're selling to your potential clients. 2, when you get inside, can you break that complex project, that complex process, that complex implementation? Can you break that down? Are you confident enough? Do you have the background to be able to do that? So that's the first thing I do. I assess if they're a subject matter expert, and these things help me to understand if they are. The second thing I do, and I know a lot of people don't want to think about this, don't want to hear about mindset, because they think it's woo-woo and it's not, it doesn't mean anything. But let me tell you something. When I came from corporate, I had to change my mindset. When I started working with clients, I had to understand that there have been years and years, and for some decades and decades, of the way that they think, because I was that person as well. So you're no longer tied to a job that gives you tasks. You regain control and focus your efforts on the most important and impressive parts of your career. So you don't have that structure anymore that you were accustomed to working in corporate. You don't have that 8 to 5, 9 to 5. You don't have that lunch break and then you come back. Sometimes you working straight through. You don't have that boss to go to for your next task. You have to gauge that. And some of you do this now. But that button up and that polish and all of that, these are things, right? That you could be at home working and doing your own thing as a consultant. But some people need the structure from an organization or an employer. Some people need to have the processes in place. As a consultant, you create your own processes and procedures, right? You're no longer tied to that job. And I do realize it may sound like it's something, oh, I can do that. But I tell you, I used to go to the store and think about, did my light turn yellow on my Teams thing? Y'all know the ping, the light? Am I showing as available? I would have flashbacks and I'm like, oh, I'm not there anymore. So the mindset, can you think like a consultant? As a consultant, you get to decide what you do. Like I just talked about, you don't have to try to fit your skills, experience, or abilities into a specific job description or compete for the best task on your current team. So now you don't have to fit into a job description. That's what job descriptions are for. You have to fit into them. When you're a consultant, they have to work for you. They have to fit your lifestyle. They have to fit your schedule. They have to fit the compensation that you want. They have to fit the type of work that you want to do. As an employee, you fit into that job description. And if they give you work outside the job description, you still get the same pay. So thinking like a consultant, that's a change. Coachable. Are you coachable? What does that mean? Who is the person or who are the people that I can learn from to help me speed up this process? Right? So somehow as adults, we forget that we went to pre-K. We learned there, then we were able to go to daycare. We learned there, then we were able to go to grade school. We learned there, then we were able to go to middle school. We learned there, we were able to go to high school. We learned from people there, then we went to college. We learned from people there, and we went for our advanced degree. But somehow, once we got into adulthood and had our work experiences and continued throughout our life, we either ego trip or we just think we already know everything and we don't think that we need to learn from anyone anymore. I'm talking about myself because I thought that. You can't teach me recruiting. I do this. I've been doing this for 3 decades. I do this. Oh, hold on, Miss Ma'am. Hold on. You ain't in corporate no more, Dorothy. You're not there no more, Dorothy. Chill out. It's a different world. So I had to get a coach to help me how to maneuver building my business, getting clients, selling my value, selling what I do. Is who can help me with the learning curve. How many more summers you got? 50, 40, 30, 20? How many more summers you got? Earlier, we wrote down the industries that we were in and how long we've been in them. Healthcare, 10 years. Quality, 9 years, 13 years. HR, 10 years. Government, 9 years. Security, 5 years. We wrote that down. Y'all remember? Let me ask you something. How many years or how much time have you spent on your resume and your LinkedIn profile and your engagement letter or cover letter? I'm not going to ask you to write it down, because one should not be without the other. They're married together. You did all the things for your career. You did all the things. You went to school. You got the skills. You got the knowledge. You learned the tools. You learned the software. You worked at different companies. You know the skill. I can't go and sit in Jay's desk in his office, in his cube, or wherever he sit, and say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'll do it, Jay, because I got 3 decades in TA. Jay going to look at me like, okay, I'll let you run this contact center. He don't laugh at me. He don't laugh at me. I can sit in Lady Lowe's desk when she go to work and say, you know what, Lady Lowe, I've been in TA for 3. I can do this. Okay. Okay. You can have. I haven't been there. I haven't done that in years. So when you have your career and all of your documents, they should be together. You did this, but you haven't been working on this. So being coachable means we got to get your credentials correct. We have to get that right. This is going to introduce you to your clients. This is going to share with them your value. This is going to share your credentials. It's going to share with them if you're credible, if you know what you're talking about. Can you share your story? We talk about that portfolio. Some of you haven't touched the resume and you wonder on every single live, I'm always talking about it. Why? It ain't because of me. It's because of you. It's not because of me. And I'm not saying use me as a coach. I'm not for everyone. I get that. I'm cool with that. Information is all over the net. You can look up anything you want. It's out there. You can use ChatGPT. I know people that do it. It's not the information. You get a coach for your point of view, right? I resonate with you because something I'm saying resonates with you. You like my teaching style. Some people I see maybe a little is passion, but it may seem like, I'm angry or I'm aggressive, and that's not me, right? And sometimes I look back at my videos and I cringe. I'm like, Kelly, chill. But it's only because I'm passionate. But don't we want people that's passionate about what they do before we work with them? I'm not going to take my car to a person that works as a tattoo artist for 8 hours and work as a mechanic for 3 hours. No, you need to be doing this for the bulk of your life. I need you working on that for a long time. That's who I want. Right? And the other thing, you want to be available. Show up for yourself. Show up for yourself. Right? So this is just a roadmap, very condensed version, a skeleton version of what I share. But I want you to use this. Again, married with those questions that we talked about earlier. If you're creating your roadmap and how you're going to get there, think about some of the things, right? Am I coachable? If I'm going to get someone to help me with this, am I going to be available? Can I think like a consultant? Am I able to shift my mindset? Shifting your mindset, y'all, is hard, especially at our age. It's like trying to move a ship or a yacht. It's so big. It's like trying to turn it around because we have to unlearn some things. We have to unlearn some things. So mindset is key. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. But finally, why I can't keep being an employee. And I know this may be a little step on toes and a little bit, who are you? But I'm going to share it anyway, because if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't have put this in here. But because I do, I put it in here. This is why you can't keep being an employee. Remember earlier we talked about, based on data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, only 20% of workers aged 65 and over are employed. These figures make it evident that as you grow older, hear me, y'all. This ain't Kelly talking. I cited the source. You can look this up for yourself. I wanted to show you a mental picture and not just have it type text. Based on data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, only 20% of workers aged 65 and over are employed. These figures make it evident that as you grow older and gain more experience, finding traditional W-2 employment becomes increasingly challenging. This graph shows you. I know we're not at age 65 yet, but I'm going to say it every time we get on live. We're living longer, and I'm not saying that for my health. I had a lady, and I know she's going to watch this. She's going to watch the replay. She sent me a letter yesterday, an email yesterday. It blessed my soul. The email was long. She said it, not me. She said, I know this is long. But she said, I want you to tell the people that I thank God for you. And I thank God I start my job on July 10th, and I'm 73 years young. I don't be coming up with numbers, y'all, out of a hat. I know that the way that we're moving in the workforce is, number one, it's going to be based off of skills. People unfollow me. People send me messages and they tell me they don't want to hear this because they want me to talk about tactics. They want me to tell them to put this word on your resume. They want me to tell them to make sure your resume isn't color coded. They want me to tell them to put this on your LinkedIn profile. I don't talk about that often because I know those are tactics. That is not strategy. I want the people that's under the sound of my voice to know that it's all about the 6 inches in between your ear that's going to sustain you moving forward. And for those few summers you have left, I want to make sure that if I'm getting on here for free, that it's going to be of value and that you're going to be able to take these tools and leverage them to benefit you. Everything is not free. You may have to pay a fee for some things you need to learn. But it's up to you what you prioritize in your life. Before I came back, before I took a break, I'm going to say it again, and I know I keep saying it. The one thing I said is that I'm coming back because there's a sense of urgency. The job market is good right now, but the growth rate isn't. It's starting to change. I want you to remember this graph. That lady that emailed me yesterday, and if you're on my IG, you can go to my stories. I put it there. She's 73, y'all, and she's starting her new job on July 10th. Let's keep going. The second reason. You're welcome, Krista. The second reason, this is a study that was done by AARP. I'm going to always cite the source. 78% of workers experience ageism in the workplace or when applying to jobs. I'll say it again. Not 50%, not 60%, not 70%, but 78% of workers between the ages of 40 to 65. I'm thinking 40 is young, maybe because I'm not 40 anymore. But they experience ageism. I had a very smart young lady that I did her documents for. She just got them back. When I talked to her the week when we started talking, I told her she's going to be 44. I know she's probably watching too. She's already thinking about her future, y'all. I wish I would have had the mindset she has. 78% of workers experience ageism in the workplace or when applying to jobs. So that means even at your job, you right now, You could be discriminated against for positions or projects because of these three things. As part of this survey, this is why they say employers turn down senior candidates. Now, it tripped me out the fact that they calling people 40 to 65 senior candidates. It's kind of like the entertainment industry when you got to be 21 and 20. Like, it's tripped out to me. To me, this is the most important slide. So I need you to take out a pen. I need you to screenshot this, and I need you to hear me clearly. This is what employers think. You can go to AARP and get the survey yourself. I'm going to always cite the source. This is what employers think. First of all, they call you a senior candidate if you're between the age of 40 and 65. And the reason why they turn down senior candidates is, number one, outdated notions of competency. Check that out. Outdated notions of competency. And I know we're running over, so I'm going to speed through this, but I really wanted to stay on this. But what the heck is notion? It's a conception of, this is important, y'all. Please hear me, because this is what they think. A notion is a conception of or a belief about something. They don't even know you, but they got a notion of your competency. How do they even have this notion of your competency and that is outdated? How? They don't know you. How do they get their first impression of you? How? I know y'all typing it. I can't see you, but your resume, right? Your LinkedIn profile. That's how. So what is it? They got a notion? The second reason employers turn down senior candidates is resistance to learning. So they think if you're between the ages of 40 to 65, you're resistant to learning. I guess they never came to one of our lives, huh? The third one, inability to fit into digital work environments or stay up to date with digital skills and workflows. This is what they said, y'all. They said if you're between the ages of 40 and 65, you don't have the ability to fit into digital work environments, or you don't stay up to date with digital skills and workflows. How do they know this? Why do they think that? Look at just look at the three bullets, how they just outdated, resistance, inability, so negative. That's how they look at you. Let's close this thing down. To be or not to be a consultant is decision time. Regardless of your decision to become a consultant, adopting a consultant's mindset is beneficial. In today's career landscape, transactions play a significant role, with hiring and firing becoming increasingly volatile and likely to remain so. While companies typically seek specific skills and job descriptions, as an experienced professional, you bring more to the table than just skills. Your expertise is reflected in strategies derived from your experience, offering valuable insights and approaches beyond mere skills. I need y'all to write these three things down. I'm going to say this again. When you're crafting your documents and you want to know how to share your value, here are some things that you can put bullet points underneath to help you with crafting that story. Your expertise is reflected in strategies derived from your experience, offering valuable insights and approaches beyond mere skills. These consultant-like qualities encompass not only accomplishing tasks and delivering results, but also navigating complex situations and effectively managing various stakeholders to achieve specific results. How we doing, y'all? I know y'all chatting. How was that? I couldn't see y'all. Was that helpful? And I'll get to the questions. I know it's over. I apologize, you all. I apologize. How was that? Was that helpful? Was that okay? Let me go back to see what y'all doing. Was that Hey, Stacy, I see you there. I see you. Let me go back. I know y'all been talking. It was helpful. Okay. Okay. I'm glad. I'm glad it was helpful. Glad it was. And again, I'm not trying to convince you to be a consultant, but I do want you to remember this, right? For your future. I want you to remember. I want you to think about some of these things. Okay. Very helpful. Okay. Good. Very helpful. Good. 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 What are we thinking about, y'all? What are we saying? What are we saying? What I miss? Teresa, it's time to make some life changing moves these next few months. I hear you. I hear you. Praise God. That's beautiful. Great information. Okay. I'm glad it was helpful, y'all. You're welcome, Angela. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you all. Strategy has always been put on the back burner when training and transitioning to new people. That's true. That's true. Stacy, I truly appreciate you, Kelly. You're blessed. Oh, thank you, Stacy. Oh, y'all, stop it. I appreciate y'all. So, Lady Low, what do you think about the Supreme Court ban affirmative action? That's a whole video, Lady Low. That's a whole, that's a whole topic. That's a whole. I think, I have to ask the question sometimes. Like, don't y'all feel like we're going backwards? It's just, it just make you like, huh? It's like what? Like, what are you getting out of doing this? I honestly, Lady Low, I don't even know if I have the words. Krista, it was helpful. I appreciate you, hon. Krista over there holding down IG. I appreciate you. Do you have a website to learn how to get to the business of consulting off the ground? DM me. Since you're on IG, you can DM me and then I'll shoot you a message, okay? I appreciate you hanging in there. Stacy said, my employer says mature employees cannot be molded or shaped. Ooh, I like that, Stacy. I like that. I like that. I mean, it's true, y'all. We got so much experience and knowledge, and we ain't trying to. Should we not put, Angela says, should we not put an accurate picture on our, no, yeah, definitely put your picture on there. Definitely put your picture on there. Jay said, I've had a tough time just getting a job interview. If I'm not given the opportunity, I will make one as a, that's the way to think. That's the way to think. That's the way to think. All right, that's what I wanted, Jay. I want y'all to think. That's all. I never will push things on you, right? I just have a point of view, right? Just like you all have points of view as well, and I respect that, you all. But I want to, like I said, I just want to, provide you with the information in where we're headed and where we're going. I just want you ahead of the curve. It's going to always be giving you the tools. What you do with them is on you, right? Just equipping you so you'll have the tools that you need. And of course, anytime you want to take this further, we can definitely talk about that. Let me give you my career chat. If you want to have a career chat, definitely reach out to me. That's something we can definitely do. If you just want to talk through it and just see if it will make sense. I have a whole thing of questions. Some of you I've already talked to, and we're going to be working on some things. And I want you to be like that young lady I talked to weeks ago and we started working together. Like, it's just so important, you all, that we think about these things. I know we haven't had to do this in the past. I know you may think, you know what, I got some time, but I don't want you to wait. I don't want you to wait until, I'll do. It's kind of like us saying, oh, I'll do it this weekend, or oh, I'll do it next week. I'll wait till next year, or my kids are still in school, or this or that happening. Y'all remember the young lady we talked about? This is my link, y'all. Hey, Janelle. Y'all remember the young lady we talked about a couple weeks ago? And she resigned. She had worked there for 10 years. She resigned. 20 minutes later, she was locked out of everything. That's how they feel about us, y'all. And listen, it's their business. But what we do is we get attached, we get emotionally attached, we get connected, and we get into this tradition, we get into this routine, and we don't. I just want y'all to think about. I'm not saying God forbid. I do not want anyone to get laid off or let go. If you can stay there as long as you can, if you're happy, then do that, right? That's not what but I know I've seen it. I've been a part of it. I had to do it. I've talked to people, right? I told y'all there was a lady I worked with last year. She worked with HR for months, letting people go, the high potential people who were on the list. And she had to let people go and work together for months. She went in on Monday and she worked with HR, and she had been working with them on weekends and everything. She went in on Monday to let her team go. It hurt her so bad. Guess what happened on Tuesday? Yeah, they let her go. They don't owe us anything. Working for someone is transactional. It's a transaction. You provide a skill, I pay you. That's how they think, y'all. You do this, I pay you. You should be good. That's what you're here for. I had a boss that would say that. Oh, she did her job. If somebody would get kudos or something, oh, that's part of her job. She should be doing that. I just wanted to make you think, y'all. I want to make you think. Like I said, I know I'm not for everybody. We shouldn't be for everyone. And my style and what I share, I want it to be different than everyone else. I don't want y'all to just be on the surface level, because I know I've been there. I've seen. I had the advantage of working with candidates and getting thousands and thousands upon thousands of them hired, and working with thousands upon thousands of decision makers. I know how they think. I know how hiring manager at this one phone company only wanted to see resumes from people that were at Ivy League colleges. I know how they think. I work with hiring managers that would look at the dates on there to see how old you were. I work with hiring managers that look at your name to see if you was from India, or to see if you had a black name, what they considered a black name. I've seen it. And it's always interesting to me when people say, oh, I can help them do this. I'll help you with this, and I can help you do this because I used to hire people. That was a part of your job. That wasn't all of your job. You know it from one aspect. No, I'm not trying to shade or anything like that. But it's the same for you. It's just like if I went to Linson and tried to do Linson's job and sat in his chair and did, oh, I can do it, Linson. I've been out here doing this for a while. I can do it. Okay. He would laugh at me. So it trips me out when people say, oh, I just go to Chat GPT. Okay. Do you not think that they already got this plugged into the applicant tracking system? I don't say anything. I let people do what they want to do. That's cool. Go ahead. Go right ahead, right? Elizabeth said, I'm going to start writing my statement of work for my several consulting business. Chat GPT. Look at Elizabeth. This is what I'm talking about, taking action. This is why I do this. Y'all already taking action. Linson said, immaturity could explain why most companies are having trouble keeping the best of mature people. That's it. And they don't listen, y'all, they got to hang on to the money. Have y'all seen the stock market? That tells you a lot about the companies. It tells you a whole lot. You can look at their balance sheets. You can look at their financial statements and see what they're doing. Some of the things I do with the clients that I have, we look and see what their core business is. What is their core product? How they pay their bills? Are they in debt? You may not know in 2024, they're planning a big layoff. You may not know that. They're not going to come up and tell you. That's why you have to be responsible for your career. You have invested all of that schooling, all of that grade school, middle school, high school, undergrad. You've invested that time. All that work experience. Don't let it just go to waste and let somebody else dictate it. I just showed you it's transactional. You give me this, I'm going to give you that. That's it. That's it. I want us to think differently. I want us to think about, what can I get out of being here? What can I learn from being here? What can I add to my portfolio? What can I add to my resume? Angela said, I left my job of 10 years and unexpectedly became a consultant for the last 10 months. Now I need to know how to leverage that opportunity. There you go. Y'all thinking. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jay said, I've already spoken to a call center brokerage firm. All they want me to do is make the introductions and they close. If they close, I get the commission for the life of the contract. That's how we have to think, y'all. Do research on gig economy. GIG is coming. It's here, y'all. I don't want you to be left behind. I don't want you to have so outdated skills in the way of thinking, and that you're just going about it, day by day, like nothing is changing. It's changing right now as we sleep, as we talk. They're changing. Things are happening. Microsoft then created this, and they're doing this. GM and Ford and got with Tesla. They're going to be using their charge instead. Like, things are happening, y'all. I just seen a whole warehouse with nobody in there but robots. Ain't nobody in there. I care. If I don't have to share the things that I know make you uncomfortable, because people are not going to say the things. Some people think that they should tell you what they know you want to hear. But I know God chastens the ones that he loves. He going to tell it even if it hurt my feelings, if it step on my toes, if it makes me feel bad, if it hurts me, if it's something I don't want to go through. And he does it because he loves me. And I'm going to tell y'all because I love y'all. I don't want y'all, I do not want you to be surprised. It's going to hurt if you get let go. I know. But you'll have the tools. And you're going to say, I can bounce back from this because I got some tools to work with. I'm going to let y'all go. I know I keep talking. Hey, Susan. Hey, hon. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, this will be on YouTube. I forgot about YouTube. You're welcome. You're welcome. The times on each time I try. I'm sorry. Let me update my I see you, Angela. It just came through on my phone. It just came through. It came through. It just came through. AI is moving fast. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. We're on the second half, y'all. We're on the second half of 2023. How many more summers do you have? How many more summers do you have? Take action, just like, was that Elizabeth? Like Elizabeth said, I'm going to start writing my statement of work. She's going to do her SOW for several consulting businesses. Use ChatGPT. I'm not saying it's bad, y'all. I use it. Use it, leverage it. That's what we're in the AI world right now. Use it, leverage it for that, but be smart about it. All of these applicant tracking systems, don't you know that they're using it as well to be able to see who's leveraging it for the wrong reasons. And the ChatGPT is not going to be able to tell you your experience. You got to feed it, right? So it'll give you the output that you desire. They have roles now for prompt engineers to tell you what prompts to put into there. I've been debating about doing a thing on ChatGPT. If y'all want to do that, we can talk about that one day. But I've been, because I don't want, well, I'm not going to go. I'll keep talking. It's been great. I appreciate I got to go. There you go, Jay. There you go. There you go. All right, y'all. Jay Rich. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Go ahead, Jay Rich. Go ahead. That word. All right. I love y'all. Have a great week and take some action. Take some action. I'll see y'all later.